Hi, I'm Dave Getz from Magnificent Horses, here with
Elizabeth DeSarl. I am the owner of Elizabeth Marie Equestrian Center, and I am here to give Dave a riding lesson today.
Yes.
On Titan, PA.
Yes, so I've taken lessons before on half Arabian. This is my first lesson on purebred Arabian, so a little bit different style of riding. I do hunter jumper, and this is a little bit different style, so going to kind of check out the differences. I'm using the OBSBot tracking camera, and it's going to follow me around wherever I go, so give you a quick demo of that as well. We usually go left first, is that what you do?
Let's go. I don't go a certain direction first. You can either go left or right. The horses are used to starting out to the left, the show horses, so a lot of times I start out the second direction first, which is tracking to the right.
Okay. Now when we're at the walk, we do left, right with our legs.
Correct.
Do that?
Yep, 100%. You want to keep your horse straight in between your legs. Okay. They are taught to move away from pressure from your leg and taught to move away from pressure in your hand, which is then called the indirect rein pressure.
I love the arch of his neck.
Yeah, isn't it nice riding a horse like that?
Yeah, beautiful.
So the thing about the Arabs is that you really move their neck by the indirect rein of your hand, and of course with a little bit of leg pressure. Yeah. He does like to travel a little bit crooked through his neck and drop his shoulder, so you'll get to feeling that he tries to do that. The other direction so this direction he carries his head to the left, so he needs outside hand, outside leg support. Okay. And then the other direction he likes to carry his head to the left, of course, because, he tracks this way with his head to the left, right. And the other way he does the same thing. So the other direction, we pick up the outside hand, but we also use a lot of inside hand to kind of pull him and then push him over with your outside hand. Okay. And you'll feel like, he definitely needs a ton of outside leg support. So something that I like to start with in my lessons, and I like to start my riders off asking them to stand up in their stirrups or get up in a 2-point position. So this, just stay up. And this teaches a rider to stretch out their calves, a new rider, and get the flexibility so that way they can continue to keep their heels down. If a rider can keep their heels down, that's kind of like the brakes on a car. It helps keep the rider's butt in the saddle when a horse spooks. Yeah. So this is lovely. And the other thing that 2-pointing teaches, especially new riders, but is constantly challenging older riders, is the balance part of it. Right. And of course, balance is different on every different type of horse. Yeah, it's short leg, long leg.
It's funny, he's harder to balance on than my horse.
Exactly.
Probably because I'm used to my horse.
Yeah, and he's smaller compared to your horse, but compared to some other Arabians, he is bigger. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you got a pretty good stretch here. You're starting to feel it. Yeah. Good. And sometimes I do come up and help just to give a little bit of support. Yeah. And every rider has a good leg and a bad leg. So let's circle and go the other direction so I can check out your right leg. Okay. And go ahead and have him stop. So another thing that I wanted to show you about the 2-point position, so go ahead and get back up in the 2-point position. If a rider gets up...
This is what I call 2-point, like this?
Yep, so and that's what I was going to say, is if a rider, when we're practicing the 2-point position at the walk, if you get up too high, then you can't get your heel down as far. Okay. So I always say push your heel down as far as you can, then get up and squeeze your knee and your inner thigh. Okay. And get your hip up just a little bit more. There. So this, for me, is what I teach a beginner rider how to 2-point. Okay. Because it's different than the 2-pointing when you're in hunter jumper or jumping.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So let's go ahead and walk. Good. And try to come down just a little bit, and this will allow this heel forward. There you go. This makes it sometimes a little harder. Yeah. There's the challenge.
You make it harder on me.
I know. That's what I'm supposed to do, or else I'm not doing my job.
Right.
You're doing great. I'm not trying to kill you in the beginning of the lesson.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and sit down. So his cheating part of this direction is that he always likes to push up against the inside leg. Okay. So you're constantly closing your inside leg and opening up your outside leg, so that way he has room to move over. I say you're going to close the right gate, and then you're going to open the left gate so that way he has room to move over towards the wall.
Okay.
And I think today we'll actually start out his hard way since you're an experienced rider.
Okay.
And then that way it'll give you a challenge and I can see what you're made of.
All right.
And he is a horse that requires a lot of leg to drive forward because he is 14 years old, so he does tend to get a little bit lazy behind. And when he gets that way, we usually just add a longer whip, which tells him to push off from his hind end. Because what we're asking for the horse to drive up to the bridle, not the horse to bring its head back to its chest. We're constantly asking a horse to drive its butt up to the bridle.
Okay.
Good. And then to ask him to come into the bridle, you're just going to do some soft wiggling with your fingers. And when you do that, you always have to apply a little bit of leg pressure and pressure back through the elbows.
On my
There.
wiggling the fingers, is it left, right kind of thing?
So if I can get a horse to listen, I'll just use I ride with my pinky over, so I'll just ask a horse to set his head with my pinky.
Okay.
But if that doesn't work, then I will do a little bit of left, right.
Okay.
And when I do that back through my elbows.
Okay.
So not so much just through my wrists.
Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready, you could pick up a rising trot. Good. And gradually, I want you to ask him to go over closer to the rail. Good. Very good. Just a readjustment. Good. So far, so good. A little bit of another difference in the main ring hunt riding is that we ride with our elbows back a little bit and our hands down a little bit lower. There. And then with him, because he's older again, he gets lazy with his rear end. So when he drops his head down, it's when he needs pushed up to the bridle more, either through your legs, your seat, or tapping him on the butt with a whip. There you go. And let's cluck and ask him for a little bit more. Good. And cluck and ask for a little bit more. Excellent. These guys can stay really collected at an extended trot, so don't be afraid to encourage him to move forward more. Good. Really good. And I like your leg position, so your heel is a little bit lower than your toe, which again, for me as an instructor, I feel like that is a big part of the safety of riding. Excellent. Ask him to drive a little bit more. Good. And let's try to think about your hands being the same. So a lot of times your left hand is forward, which is forward because you feel like you're going around a circle, so you need to give him that rein to move. Rather, I like to pull my left arm back a little bit and then cross it over the indirect rein, but then support with your right leg so he doesn't continue to the inside. So we do use words, which is probably different for you. So let's do that transition again. So go ahead and shorten up your reins a little bit. This time, these are all the steps that I want you to take in your mind.
Okay.
All at the same time, you're going to say walk, you're going to sit, and you're going to apply a little bit of pressure to his mouth. Okay? So let's pick up the trot. Bridle and leg. Bridle and leg. Drive him forward. Drive, drive. We want to get him back up to the speed that he was when we asked for the transition. Push, 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 push. And think about the steps, Dave, and when you're ready, let's make that happen. Good. That was better. Yeah, he was nice and smooth through it. He stayed consistent with his head. I really like that. It's just another added layer of communication to your horse. And again, some disciplines don't do that, and some disciplines do. And in the Arabians' main arena, we do use our voices.
Okay.
and go ahead and ask him for a little bit of bridle. So just pull back through your elbows and squeeze your legs. There, good. Keep pushing with your leg. Beautiful. You feel the difference in that? Yeah. It's nice to get him pushed up to it and really feel like him pushing off his rear a little bit. And sometimes I want him at a walk to not take these lazy steps. I want his walk to be a little bit more urgent and crispy. There you go. But don't lose your bridle. Excellent. A little bit more left hand support because his head's starting to, yep, perfect. And we had talked about the canter before. We talked about the canter being outside leg instead of inside leg, which again is different from discipline to discipline. Here I like to open up the horse's inside shoulder to help him be able to pick up the correct lead. The leading leg for the canter this direction is his right front leg.
And on mine I do a kissing sound?
Yep, absolutely. So I like to kind of drop the hip to the inside a little bit while I'm setting my horse up. So I'm going to have to release some pressure on my right heel and allow his hip to move over to the right a little bit before you ask for the canter. And then you're going to take his head to the outside. So soften your inside hand and pull back through your left elbow. A little bit more. And then kiss and go. A little more follow through. There you go. Good. Shorten up your reins. And this is where I talked about before. Shoulders more with your hips. So pull your shoulders back, open up your chest, and drive off your leg. There you go. There, that's better. That really helps you make more contact with your seat at the canter. He is a little bit rougher just because he's an older horse. Good, excellent. Little bit more outside hand support. Drop it down and pull your left hand back. Very good.
You want me to keep sitting, right?
Yep, keep sitting, left hand back, and drive off your left leg. So he's starting to hollow out, which means he's not engaging his hind end. You giving your left hand too far forward, pull your left hand back, shoulders back, and make contact with your lower leg. Lower leg. There you go. Feel your heel touch his side. Drive, drive. There you go. Left hand back. And same thing with this down transition. It's going to be a sit back, and it's going to be the word, and it's going to be adding some extra bridle. So whenever you're ready, let's ask him to W-A-L-K. Sit back. Good. There you go. That was very good. You sat the canter well.
Good, thanks.
Yeah, liked it. Yeah, it's a whole different feeling, isn't it?
It is. Mm-hmm. Much different.
But, you know, it's lovely to be able to ride all disciplines and all different breeds of horses.
Yeah.
How I look at it is a good horse is a good horse.
Yeah.
So I love all breeds of horses.
So Canter left or Trot left?
Yeah, let's just let him have a little bit of break and let him catch his wind, and you too, because I'm sure I'm throwing a lot at you, which is usually what I do.
Right.
I'm very disciplined with my riding, and all of my students that come here understand that that's kind of what they're getting themselves into.
That's what I like. That's what I like about my instructor too.
Yeah, absolutely. It does make you feel like you're getting something accomplished instead of just going there and having some playtime, which the playtime is really great with the horses because it's so good for our soul.
Yeah.
But, you know, I generally will do that when I have a good moment on the horse, when they've done something well and executed it well. And then afterwards, I want to love on my horse. I want to groom him. I want him to know what a good job he's been doing.
Yeah.
You also, my instructor teaches to have the extra reins on the outside or the right side.
So for me, I was taught as a kid that it was called the bite.
Okay.
The extra rein was called the bite, and the bite always goes on the right.
Yeah.
But when I change direction, I don't take it to the left.
Right. Yeah, that's what we do.
Oh, perfect.
Right,
Yeah.
same.
I mean, old school instructors.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, the bite goes on the right, so that's perfect. And for him, when he gets like a little bit pushy and rutting around in the bridle, that just means that he needs more leg.
Okay.
And he'll do that always from like the stand to the walk.
Yeah.
Because he's like, what are we doing? And,
Yeah.
you know, you just got to drive more forward. And one thing that I did notice about the canter, he's hollowing out a lot with you, and you have to think about getting up underneath him with your lower leg and making that contact, and actually asking him, lifting up his ribs and asking him to ride uphill a little bit. And that will engage his rear and kind of get it tucked up underneath himself a little bit more, so that way he can use his shoulders better.
How's this headset right now?
It's really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
And
what I want to be.
absolutely. And when you have a nice headset like that, all you really have to do at that point is just direct it off your leg.
Okay.
So once we get around the camera, I am going to have you pick the canter up. Same thing, a little bit of outside hand, outside leg, asking his hip to drop to the center a little bit, thus freeing up his shoulder. So whenever you're ready, let's pick the canter back up, follow through it more with your outside leg. There you go. Now instantly ask him for bridle and sit deep. Good. There you go. Good, Dave. And again, shoulders back, chest open, tighten up your core. Very good. Hands are already looking better. You ride a little bit more even with your hands this direction than you do the other direction. Very good. Okay, go ahead and walk. Bridle, bridle, bridle. Good. Now let's stop and pet him. I like to take these moments because, you know, you corrected him breaking the canter and you had a beautiful canter this direction. So take the time and allow your horse to absorb that. Now you just got to add the bridle part to it. So let's pull your hands back through your elbows. Cluck. See if he'll drive forward and drop into it. There. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. Good, Dave. Don't give your elbows forward because he's dropping his head lower. You still want to pull your elbows back, keep your hands back, and use your leg to push him up like we saw in the beginning of this trot this direction. Push up.
Hang on. I keep losing my right stirrup. I mean, not losing it, but my foot goes in too far.
Okay. So we really just want to get one more decent trot out of him because as he gets more tired, he doesn't want to engage his rear. So remember, when you use your legs and you push your heel into him and you get up underneath his ribs, that's when he's going to lift at the base of the neck and he is going to drive up underneath himself. If you start to feel like a lot of pressure in your hands and it feels like he's pulling on you, it's because you're not riding with enough drive and energy. A headset takes a lot of energy to maintain. There, drive with your leg and cluck, cluck, cluck. There you go. He lifted up in the bridle. Good. Nice. Really good. That was so smooth. So much different than the start of your ride.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that.
We want
Yep.
progress, right?
Exactly. I'm happy with that for you. Good boy, Titan. Titan's a good boy. Titan deserves some treats, huh?
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. That was
You're welcome.
a ton of fun. I'm a little out of breath,
I'm
but
sure you are.
it was a lot of fun, so I appreciate
that's
it.
good. You rode really hard, and,
Yeah.
and you know it's good to push people a little bit beyond their limit and then take them back.
Right,
Yeah.
yep. So, Elizabeth DeSarl, and what's the name of your stable again?
Elizabeth Maria Equestrian Center, located right in Central Scottsdale.
Okay, so if you're in the area, you want a nice riding lesson like this one, just leave a comment, and I will put you in touch. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Oh, and look who came in. Right at the end, the barn mascot came in.
Yeah.
The barn mascot.